last week, what we did, we used a couple of tools. I think we used up to 4 of them. These AI tools, we used Chroma, we used ColorMind, we used Adobe XD, we used Leonardo, right? And we were about to get into like Photoshop, but we ran out of time, right? So we were creating our user persona. We created our user persona. So for the sake of people that just joined us, what we try to do is we did like our own user research, right? So instead of, getting real users out there, we used ourselves as, peer, and then we just asked questions. Somebody suggested that, okay, yes, let's build a food ordering website. And then we all discussed and said, okay, what do we do? What do we call this food ordering website? Somebody said, okay, you know what? Let's call it Jackpot Foods, right? And then we picked the name and we said, okay, Jackpot Foods. Then based on assumption, we decided that, okay, yes, we created a persona for this person. We picked one of us in, the chat members that joined. We said, okay, this is the person's character. This is in his late 30s, he just migrated and, alone in like a new region, doesn't have his family here. He would like to order like his hometown food, that amalang begiri, that's, proper, buka food. You want to have a taste rather than eating burgers, every time. So that's his persona. He's looking for where to get it, and that is where your business come into play, right? And then we decided and said, okay, what is our design user flow? What do we want to do? And that's where we started. So instead of going straight into design, right, and having to waste some of our stakeholders' time by designing some things and then going back to them and oh, I don't like this color, I don't do that one. Okay, we started using AI and said, okay, what are the best colors that we can use based on our assumption that okay, this is the color that this guy would like, right? And then we use Chroma and ColorMind to get those kind of colors. And then some of us took down notes. I took down mine too, and that I'll be showing us today. Yeah, so usually if you want to go into design now, you would want to create your wireframe, which is like a sketch, right? You want to sketch something and say, okay, this is what I want to go. You want to do your user research, okay? There's a tool that, I usually use. So there's a software called Miro, right? It helps me to be able to put my thoughts together, right? If I want to sign up, like I want to get like, okay, I like this design, I like that one, and I want to put everything together. I'm not going to go in depth into Miro because Miro is like a whole bunch of other, things that we have to learn about. So last week we used Chroma to get this set of colors, right? I have 4 colors that I'm going to be using for design, right, on Figma. I'm going to have to input everything into Figma. My first color, this is it, and I have my code. These are like my code recognition, hexagonal colors. We mentioned what all of these are last week, RGB. And we also discussed what bias means. And you can see I have like pretty much good bias, with all these colors. I have this, and I have one more. So I'll just put that right here. So if you're here, what you want to do is go straight to your top right corner. Top right corner, and you'll be able to see this icon called design file. So you want to click on that to be able to help you, create what you want to do is create a new environment, okay? Once you click on design file, you should see an environment like this. So I'm going to share a link now, and you can open that link on your mobile device, on your laptop, wherever it is. You'll be able to see what I'm doing, like on your system. The same thing. Copy link. Yes. Okay. We've sent it to the chat now. You can open it up and then you'll be able to see. I see people joining already. I see you joining already. Good, good, good. Okay. You can preview what we're going to do today. And this is what I believe by the end of today, you'll be able to do. So Jackpot food that we all discussed. Yes, please try as much as possible. Okay, yeah, I don't think you have access to it anyways. Try as much as possible, sync this in, try. I see people trying to drag things around. I don't believe you have edit capabilities. You won't be able to edit this. You'll just be able to view it. Okay. All right. So I'm giving you access to able to see this, to see that. I mean, it's pretty much easy for you to do, to design, right? This was a rush work, and I'm going to disclaimer, right? This design is just, and let me say, just like an example of what can be, right? Not necessarily the best practice in terms of, okay, UI, UX design, the font and everything were put into place and everything. That's what we're going to, learn today. We're going to learn how to design this from scratch. So take a moment, view this and see everything, I'm going to tell us how we got this image, got the text, got all this, downloaded all of this and put them together. Okay, let's start. This middle environment, as I said last week, this whole place is called IDE, Integrated Development, Environment. Pretty much every software has the same thing. If you are familiar with Adobe, softwares, if you've used like Photoshop or some other softwares like CorelDRAW, and so I'm sure you're familiar with like, rulers moving around, you have your toolbars, you have like your, attribute panels and so on. The major tools that we're going to be using are up here at this top bar, right? Okay, and then when you select any tool here, you'll be able to see, the settings, what you want to do here. So the first thing you want to do, everyone, is to create your artboard. And artboard is like the screen dimension you want to do. And permit me, I'll be using like terms. I'll try as much as possible to use terms that, we can all relate to, So think of it as your A4 paper, that size, right? Because before you design anything, what is the size that you want to do, right? And we've decided that we want to design a web page. A standard size for website depends on different sizes, but I like to design at a wider size, right? It's easier for me to design with that wide size, and then I can scale down, with whatever I want to do. You look on your right panel. I already have some colors imputed here, but I'm going to input them again so that we can all see. So click on this plus sign. If you can see this plus sign here, click on it. For colors, you should be able to see color styles. So the step I'm taking now is to add our colors, right? Rather than going ahead to design, I want to input everything I'll be using. Click on the plus sign. You should be able to see this panel. So once you see this panel, hold on. So I want to bring in my color, right? So this is my color that I have here, right? So the first thing I have is this what you need is this hexagonal color. So try and copy your hexagonal color, okay? Mine is 211454. I'm going to give it a name, right? I like to name my, my layers, everything properly. Give it a name. Now we're working on Japa Food. My naming convention is like the project name and then the color that I want to use. I think the first color is like purple, right? So I'm going to use purple and not mind whatever color. Then you want to change this property down here. So after putting your name here, you want to change your property. You can see this code here, this D9. You want to change it to your own color, right? So what I have is 211454. Immediately you put that in, you can press enter on your keyboard, or you can just click out of that thing. Automatically, this color here is going to change. Okay? So if you've done that, go ahead and do create style. Once you create your style, you will see it listed out here. So do the same thing for other colors. I'm not going to do my other ones because I already created them here. So do the same thing for it here. You have your color here. It's just good to have it for best practice. So you don't have to start thinking, oh, what is my color? What color code do I want to use? For this website, these are all the colors that I want to use, right? And I already have everything. And I went ahead and created a gradient, which we are going to be using. But I would go back. I'll come back to this later on. Another thing is style guide, right? My style guide. So you have to also decide, right? There are a bunch of the things you need to do before getting into design, right? All that, we're going to get into all of that. But for today, you should write down and say, okay, for my headers. Now, what I mean by header, whenever you're using Microsoft Word, for example, right? There's always header. And the font is always different. It's either it's in bold style or in a regular style and all of that. So you need to set it here and say, okay, what do I want to use for my header, right? Do I want to use, say, I'm going to call this large header for today. Okay, large header. Now, again, thinking, what font do I want to use? What typeface do I want to use rather? What font means is, in Microsoft Word, we have Arial, we have Time New Roman, and all of that, right? For your website, you also have to decide and say, what kind of fonts do I want to use? So you decide. If you don't know, if you're not familiar with fonts, just go ahead and think of, okay, you have a couple that you can choose from here, but try as much as possible not to use too fancy fonts because it might not be readily available across board. So try to stick with sans serif fonts, right? So for today, we're going to be using, for this website in particular, we're using a font called Poppins. It should be readily available, right? This is a font that is available across board. I'm sure you can find it, okay? So Poppins, property. So I will start this process again. Before I do create, I'll start it again, just for the sake of repeating myself. Come to local style up here. The first thing we did was to create our color style, which is right here. We're coming to our local style up here, and then I clicked on create style, right? Then I can select, do I want color again or do I want text? Click on text. Then give it a name. I want to give it large, header. And you can give a description if you like. I like to leave it open sometimes. Then look for your font. If you know it, if you don't know it, select any font. That's up to you. I want it to be bold. Select the style. It's just like the same selection you do in Microsoft Word. Select the name, select, do you want it to be bold or italics or as the case may be. I want mine to be extra bold. Then give it a size. Of course, this is large heading. So I will usually give it for web, they will usually what's it called, tell you to give your make sure that your type size, your font size rather, is from like, some people will tell you 18, but sometimes I like to use 16 because of like if you have legal text on your website. So leave it from like 16 to 21, right? For it to be legible enough for people to see. Nowadays, you go to website, you see people using like very big fonts because yes, we are trying to design for everyone. They're not just designing for the youth out there that, have very sharp eyes. You want to design for old people and you want people to be able to read things on your websites like fast and ASAP. So for this, I will say it's 72, because I want it to be a very large heading and all of that thing okay for me, and then create. Automatically, you will see it laid out here. Okay. And then you can go ahead and fill in more that you want. So I'm going to create one more for my body text. I'm going to call it body text. Let's call it body text. Some people use copy, as the case may be. I use Poppins. All this because as a UI UX designer, you are not just like a designer, regular designers, right? You follow procedure. Your work is accurate. So if you are designing and you don't have all these sets, it causes problem along the line because imagine if you create multiple screens, you have like 20 screens, and then you have to make a correction to the same element that you created across board. And you have to go and be doing them manually. So this way, if I've created multiple things, sorry, can we please mute ourselves?
She's adjusting the tone beautifully. Take a look at that, Jill.
Thank you. It's just a bit of distraction.
No substitution. Got a clear shot and
okay. So moving along, yes, you want to make sure that you are able to just make your correction here, and then it applies across board. I'm going to leave my body text to be 19. I think in between 19 is a very legible, size for me to use. I'm using regular. Okay. So don't worry for some of us that are not catching up with what I'm doing. After we are done, I'm looking at the time. We're going to stick to time very much today, right? We'll spend another 30, 45 minutes to go over it again, right? To make sure that, yeah, we all get it very much. Are we good? Ready to start? Okay. So we have all of this done. We have good. Another thing, and this is like a pro tip for people. You would usually have, I would say, you can create plugins that can help you with things, right? You can access plugins. So if you come to, this Figma icon, that's the first icon you will see on your top left. You'll be able to see where you can access your plugins. You can create plugins. For me, I use icons a lot, right? And I use Icon Scout. And this is a pro tip for some of us that are advanced in Figma. You can just, have this on standby. Once you click on it, it comes up and you have access to thousands of plugins thousands of icons that you can use. So if you go to a website and you see how did they get this icon, not necessary, right? If you don't have access to these plugins, I will show us how we can get all of this. Once you sign up with them, you'll be able to access all of this, okay? Okay, so after this first 2 year is like your, how would I call it? If you want to do anything in this software, you want to move around, this guy is called Move. And on your keyboard, and the good thing about this, if you mouse over this icon here, right? And these tools, you will see like a short key beside it. Now, for me, I have V. It might be different on your own keyboard, right? But V is usually like the standard one. And that's like the short key that you can. So wherever to, excuse me, everyone, whatever tool you are on, if you're on like this text tool, you want to go back to your move tool, you click on V and it comes back to this, right? So this tool allows you to select things around, move around, anything you want to do. That tool helps you to do it. Now, this tool is called the region tool. This is what we will use to create our, remember the reference I gave, the A4 paper. This is the tool that we're going to use to create it, right? Now, this tool is, this fourth one right here is like your shape tool. Now, don't mind the name that you see there, rectangle. I like to call it shape tool, right? Yeah, that's even it, right? Because whatever, you can select multiple tools from it. So all you need to do is left click on your, on your mouse, right? If you're using a MacBook, you can just double tap your mouse pad and it drops down this. And these are all the tools that you can use if you want to create anything. Because I will give you one inspo. Website designing, app designing is pretty much shapes. And this is what happens when you do your wireframe. You already have those shapes and blocks blocked out for you to do. And that's why the most important tool to have is like this guy, right? It helps you to be able to create multiple shapes and you can do things around. Now, the next one is called the pen tool, right? It helps you to be able to, if you don't want, so this guy has like limited shapes. You have the rectangle. This is the shape tool. You have access to rectangle, the line, the arrow, the ellipse tool, polygon, star, aside that. So what if you want like, curvy lines, you want to create, define your own shape by yourself? You have the pen tool to help you do that. You also have the pen tool too. Now you have the text tool if you want to create like text out there, right? You want to have your text frame and things like that. This is the tool to use. Now you need other resources, this is the tool to use. And this is where you can also find your plugin rather than going to this first icon, right? And getting plugin from here. You can also get them from here, but you can create all this, you can move. Now, by the time you have like your artboard. So whenever I mention artboard, please remember the reference of the A4 paper. So when you have your artboard and it's wide and then you need to zoom in and move around, this is it. It's called the hand tool. It helps you to be able to move things. So it's like you want to drag things like this. So if you can see me, this is like, that's what the hand tool does. It just drags things around for you to move around, and see whatever you want to do. Then if you want to add a comment, you are working with a team, you want to add comments and things like that. I noticed that some of us are requesting for edit access on the template that I sent. I'm sorry, I won't be able to grant edit access because this is just for demonstration purposes, right? At the end of the class, whatever you create, yes, we can all go through it and then we can all share, sharing access and the likes. Okay, so I'm ready. So now I want to create my artboard. Remember, as a recap again, what I did was to first of all create like my guidelines, my colors that we got from the AI. I already have my color set. Now for font, This again, there are tools that you can use to get your font type. Now I've gotten my own font type. The font typeface that I want to use is called Poppins, Poppins. It's readily available. I'm sure you can get that on your own interface to Poppins. Then I've created my text styles too. I've created one for my body. I created for my large header. I created for my main header. I created for sub headers, right? So I already have all those things set. Okay, so now we're creating artboard. So what I want to do is I want to create like yes, my artboard, and I'm focused on desktop for now. Now looking at all the options, you have multiple options for dimensions that you might want to create. As I said, if you are creating this, is a best practice for you to create for the largest size possible. Then you can now scale down as the case may be. Most people will tell you that, okay, design with a 1386 size, right? But for the sake of this class, I'm going to go with the largest size that I have here, which is for like a MacBook Pro 16-inch. Now, ignore this word MacBook Pro. Whenever you have it can be a Windows desktop or something, right? You have this size. So once you create your artboard, you'll be able to see some attributes that you can use here. You can see the size, you can see the dimension that you have. You can change this dimension at any time. So for adventure, I want to change this to the widest screen size that I may want, 1920, right? I change it to 1920, and we're going to use 1920 for the sake of, this class. Okay. All right. And don't bother about the height for now. The height can change as it may, like as you go on. So for now, I'm going to use a 3000 height, right? And then you can see what you have this. Okay, so for creating a artboard, as I said, come to this tool, right? The third tool on the top bar, right? The third tool is called the frame tool. Click on it. Once you click on it, go to the attribute session by your right-hand side. If you have your desktop collapsed, go to desktop. We're looking for desktop. Click on desktop. Then you will see the different sizes that you can use, right? Click on the largest you can find, MacBook Pro 16-inch. Click on that. Once you click on that, it's going to create, the artboard beside it. And then what I did was, okay, I want to use the largest size possible, right? And I changed it to 19. So if you want to change the size, so it doesn't matter even if you've created it, I want to change the size. Also, what I just did right now, I did Ctrl Z in case you make a mistake and you want to undo. Ctrl Z works the same way like it works on Word. It's the same thing here. So if you want to change anything, remember I said your attributes. Attributes are like the properties of whatever you have created. Now I've created this artboard. Now attributes are, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to reduce the size, increase it? I want to change anything at all. Okay. Go to your right-hand side. You'll be able to see, look for frame. You will see frame. Once you see frame, go to where you can see W, right? The first thing you see is X and Y. Don't touch that for now. That means where it's located on the artboard, right? On the whole IDE itself. So leave that. What you're concerned about is the W and the H, which stands for the width and the height. So you can change the width if you like to whatever size works for you. But for this class, please, if you're following what I'm doing, change it to 1920. And you will automatically see the size, move. Okay, so I'm going to delete this because this is a duplicate. Then I'm working on this. Okay, so please also note that on your right-hand side, on your left-hand side, excuse me, you would see either yours should be page 1. If you've not created any page before, yours should be page 1. You see page 1, right? And then underneath it, you see the artboard that you just created. Now, what I created was MacBook Pro 16 inches, right? So what I want to do is I just want to rename it into something that I will understand, right? So what I'm going to do is just double click. Once you double click on it, see my mouse, if you can see my cursor, I'm moving to where this is located, MacBook Pro 16-inch. I'm changing it to Japa Foods landing page. Okay. Now, if you notice that as a best practice, I would say it's good to name things appropriately, because when you design multiple screens, you have a lot of elements going around. You want to be able to select, and like easily distinguish and say, okay, yes, this is what this is for. This is what that is for. Okay. Again, I'm going to go back to the reference that we are using today for the sake of some of us that are just joining us, so we know where we are heading towards. Okay. And we've shared the link in the chat. You can open it on your site, on your mobile devices, your laptop, and you can see what we'll be designing. This is what all of us will be designing today. We are designing it from scratch, right? All this, okay? So as you can see, we have our navigation menu on top here. We have our logo. We have words. We have these images. I will show you where to get this image and all this, right? Icons. So moving to it now, I'm going back to my page. Yes, and then this is our site. The first thing you want to do is your navigation menu, right? And for the sake of this training, we are just assuming whatever menu that we need. We're sticking with maybe 3 or 4, depending, right? We have our menu. What do we have? We need our logo. Yes, that reminds me, our logo, okay? So what I've done is just to come up with a quick logo, and I showed us that we can use this AI software to generate a logo for you real quick, right? You have all these free online softwares to generate logo for you. For the sake of this, I just drew up a quick logo. I used this software called Adobe Illustrator. I'm sure we can see my screen, Adobe Illustrator. I just drew up a quick logo for the sake of this, and I will show you how I did it real quick. It's very, very easy to do. It's not a, excuse me, everyone. All I just did, you can also create this in Figma if you have the chance. Created a circle. If you're using Microsoft Word, you can recreate this. I'm sure some of us are gurus in using Microsoft Word. Draw a circle as I'm doing. If you have any image you're using for the sake of this class, go ahead and use it. Then select your color code. And what I did was just to select like a pink. I can use any other color right now, right? Just for this demonstration. Then select this color. Then I use text. Okay. I use text and I wrote Jackpa. And this same thing works on multiple platforms. If you are used to Canva, you can use Canva to create what I'm doing. You don't have to use a sophisticated software like what I'm using. Choose your font. Well, remember I said I'm using Poppins, right? Whatever you're doing, you don't want to use Poppins for your logo and end up using something else for your website, but it also depends. That's where you have like stakeholder meetings and all. So yes. So I'm just repeating this just so that you guys see that this is not something we got online, right? I wouldn't want to use, logos are something very, very unique. So if you want to create your logo, yes, you can create it and you can use all these online things to create it too. Okay, I'm just doing this real quick so you see the process. Okay. Yes, another thing I wanted us to do is to carry out like and this is what I usually do too. I carry out like competitive research. So I know who are our competitors. Now we chose this name. Somebody chose it, and also for the sake of this class demonstration, this is in no way infringing on anybody's right. This is just us using, a random name as example. This name, some people already use this name for their business, and yes, so it's not as unique as we thought it was. So get an icon. This that I'm using here, just an icon you got that you can get online. You can get the same thing, put inside Microsoft Word, and then you're good. Boom, you have your logo. And I can change this color. I can change it to something more, contrasty. Yeah, if that's okay. And then this is my logo, right? Then you save it, and then you're good. Then what I just did was to create different versions for my website, and then we're good. Okay, so we have this. So I want to bring our logo in here, first of all. So let me save this. I will save this. For some of us that are used to Figma, if you use Adobe software, it's very easy for you to, once you design it in any software, for you to retain your properties. Just highlight the logo that you have here. Just copy, right? Copy and then go and paste it inside Figma. it's gone. It will retain your color, retain every other thing. Some of us that were not used to that, whatever software that you use to create your logo, just export it out, right? So I'm going to do a quick export for just this. Okay, I'll look for this. Then I want to save it in my. Now, don't worry about this software that I'm using, guys. Don't let it confuse you. Just listen to the demonstration. As I said, whatever we're creating now is just for demonstration. And I've tried to keep it as simple as possible for, people with no design knowledge to also understand what we're doing. We don't want to start having like so many things around, right? And again, because of the target audience, with our user persona, they would want to instantly see flashy things. They want to see flashy things. They want to see, images. They want to get quick access to their to whatever they're looking for. So yes, as I said, we didn't create wireframe and we just jumped straight to, this old design thing because of time frame, first of all, and also because we're also working on assumption and user research that we've done in class. So I just shared the link to where you can download the logo with everyone on the group chat. So you can get the logo and then you can input. So once you have your artboard open, what you want to do is you want to place your logo in there. So you go to this first two here, the Figma icon on your top. So you locate your this icon on the top left corner, right? And then go to place image. You can always find file and then you go to place image. So I'm going to just stick here for like 2 seconds so that we can all see. Locate the Figma file. That's the first icon on the top left. Click on it, go to file, then go to place image. There's so many methods that you can use to place your image, okay? This is the first method that I'm using, and then you can drop it in, and then you have your image there.
I think you need to give us access for the logo.
Yes. I just shared a new link. You don't need to request for access. You should just download this straight up. Okay. So then another method, you can just drag and drop into your interface and then you are good to go, right? So once you place your logo in, you can move it around. You can just leave it here, for example. So I'm just going to drop things around and while I place things, okay? And before doing that, just for, some of us that were a little bit advanced, okay? Let's pretend as if we're creating a wireframe, right? And then just do blocking where I want to put things. Okay. Say I want to create my header. A simple header would usually be in a rectangle shape, right? So click on this shape tool. You want to select your rectangle, tool, then just draw it across as if you are drawing any tool inside Microsoft Word. I'm sure we all use Microsoft Word. Just draw that in. Don't worry about the color or anything for now. I'm sure we'll be able to change that. Now we already have our header. Now in our mind, at the back of our mind, we say, okay, yes, this is where we're going to put our header. Now, okay, I'm still using my shape tool. After that, I want to create easy access. Now I will explain the reason why we've created what's the design that you're seeing, why you have it. Now, based on our user persona, this guy is looking for straight up where he wants to order food for. He doesn't want to be seeing about us. He doesn't want to be seeing some boring story about your brand. He wants information. You don't want your user to be on your website and they have to stay on your website for like 5 minutes before they get the information they're looking for. Of course, that's why you have a header, right? Where you can put, information and everything. Of course, and for what's it called, for fast load speed, it's also efficient to make sure that you don't have too much images sliding, for example, on your header. Which is why I've gone with the choice not to use images, sliding on the header, and to just stick with one image, because having in mind that this page is going to be image heavy, it's going to have a lot of images, right? So we have to try and minimize whatever we're doing so that, that it also affects our load speed. So this is our header. Now, the next page I'm going to use is, okay, this is where I want to put like where people can instantly shop. You don't need to go to another page to look for where to shop, right? So this is where I'm going to put that. Then after that, I want to highlight like major food that you can get. I know that Adiola was the person we used as our user persona guy, right? Adiola wants to instantly find every day. He doesn't know what to eat, and he doesn't want to eat maybe amala every day. So every day on our website, we're going to be having specials. We're going to say, okay, today we're having, amala specials. We're having jollof rice specials. We're having this, right? So I'm going to create that. And I'm going to put that right here. Okay. Now, that's the area I'm going to put for this guy. Now, if you have seen wireframes, right? If you have seen wireframes before, usually you would either see like a cross sign wherever you have image. There are different things to denote, what you want. For images, you have like a rectangle or a squared size, and you have like a cross sign across it, depending. For text, you either say like lines showing that you're going to put text there. And for some people, they rather just put like blocks of shape like this and write a text across it and say, Eda, put hero image. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Depend whatever rocks your world, right? Then we're going to have here. Then after this side, I want to put like, I want people to be able to join my newsletter, right? So people would usually join newsletter and put newsletter here. Then after that, I want to put my footer. Okay. Then my footer is here. So we've already thought about everything. So this way, we know that, okay, everything I'm going to do, I'm putting my header up here. I'm putting the information I want to put. I want to put everything here. I want to put this here. I want to put this here. I want to put this here. Are we good to go? So let's assume this is our wireframe. We already have all of this done. So what I will just do is I will highlight all this and set it aside, just as a reminder for us. Okay, I will just move it out of my artboard. That's all. So whatever you bring in, remember, you can always place it around your artboard. It doesn't matter. You can always place it there and then bring it in afterwards. I want you to also pay attention to your left-hand side. You would see different things being added to, this is my panel. As I'm adding new rectangles being added, and this is why it's important for you to name very well. So you know what is what. Even though as you're highlighting this, if you look at your artboard, it will be highlighted. You would see like a blue, outline around it. It will be highlighted, but it's good for you to also name it, right? And if you notice, it is not inside this Jackpot Food landing page because it is out of the artboard. It's just around the IDE environment, okay? So I'm putting my logo back. Okay, so if you place the logo in, it's going to look as big as this, right? And you'll be able to see like this transformation, rectangle around it. It's called transformation rectangle because it helps you to be able to reduce or increase. So now, on a website, depending on how big you want it, your logo can be as big as like the height, 150 pixels, right? Depending. And you can either from here, you can press shift on your keyboard and reduce the size, or for some of us that are, learners that are not used to short keys, just come to your attribute corner here and come and reduce your size here. It's important, however, when dealing with images or most things, right? If you want to reduce or resize anything proportionally, it is important to make sure that if you go to your right-hand side, you will see your attribute panel. You'll be able to see, remember, the width and the height parameters. You'll be able to see these constraint properties right here. You want to make sure that it is locked, like chain. It looks like chain. You want to make sure that it is locked. So if you reduce something, it will reduce all the dimensions proportionally. So I want to set my height to 150. So I inputted 150 and it automatically reduced everything for me, okay? So before even proceeding, now, I'm just setting things around. I usually set guides like ruler. This is where I want my content to start from. This is where I want it to end. And also, please keep in mind, we can't go through everything in Figma today. If I want to start going through all the things that you have to note before even starting design, it's going to take a whole of today because you have to set like guidelines. You have to, so for example, if I want to set guidelines, I want my text to start from say 200. If you look up here, you'll be able to see the measurements. Okay, start from 200. Now I put a ruler. It's just like putting a ruler that, okay, this is where I want my logo to be. Because just like it's like margin, right? Just like in Microsoft Word, you don't want your content to start at the edge of the page and all. So we're done.
Sorry, can you please just redo that? Just that last part. Thank you.
What did you say?
Can you just redo the last part? I you added the ruler or
Okay.
the grid or something. Sorry. Thank you.
All right, that's fine. Okay. So what you would do once I'm just zooming in so you can see. Move, if you can see this roller, this roll sign here around, just move your mouse, so you cursor to it. By the time your mouse goes to that place, the icon will change into like two double-ended arrows, right? Left click, depending on if you're using Windows or a MacBook, left click, hold down on it and drag. Then you will see that ruler coming out. There are other ways that you can use to do this. This is just a quick way for me to drag, right? Then you drag, then release your mouse, and then it stays there. So while doing that, if you want to measure, you will see the measurement on top right here where you can see. And as you're dragging it, you can see the number increasing. 1, 2, 3, 3, this. So I'm using 200. I'll leave it at 200. Okay. Excuse me. All right, so we're starting at 200 on this end. I want to make sure I have that same, 200 on the other hand. Then I will go again, drag. Then I want to come here. And then sometimes you might have to judge, right? And say, just looking at the number, right? Just move your mouse till you get to whatever end you need. And sometimes I also use this line to judge and say, okay, I have 1, 2, 3, judge and put. So about accuracy, guys, we're going to just, because of time, well, the time is fast spent. And up, I'm drawing another guide just to help guide for the sake of this class. Okay. So yes, so now we want to create our navigation menu, right? Our navigation menu, we're going to create just 2, 3 of them. Now, to do that, I'm using text because it's pretty much text. So go to your text tool on top. Then 2 ways you can either drag, you left click and drag. It creates like a text box for you. It's like drawing a text box. Then we're going to write about us. I'll zoom in so we can see about us, then space, 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 space. Now, there are multiple ways by which you can do this. I will show you the 2 ways. Space and then say shop. Then copy the same amount of space that I just used. Put it here and then say contact us. That's all I want to use, okay? And remember that we've created our style guide. We've created style guide. So if you can go ahead and create new styles that you want to do, that's all right. But it's good to also maintain your style guide. So once I've typed this out, rather, I can come to my text here on my attribute panel, click on these 2 dots that I have. It brings out my style for me, then creates, I want to use the same text as I'm using my body, then it automatically reformat it to that. Then I can do this. Okay, I've created my menu. Now, the other way that you can do is still the same thing. Go to your text tool. Then just click on your mouse. You don't need, click on your artboard rather. You don't need to create any, you don't need to draw any, what's it called? Any text box. Okay. So you don't need to draw any text, but then input your text about us. Okay, so then once you're done, click around the area again or press enter on your keyboard, then it comes out. Then we have this done, right? That is 1. Then you can always duplicate, copy and paste, Control C, Control P. It will duplicate, then you move your mouse around. So as you're moving those texts, you'll see some lines. It's called like guidelines. It helps you to be able to maintain, the same level. You can move it around and say, okay, now I have a distance of say 1,000. I leave it there. Then I change my text again to 10. Then click out or press enter. Click on your white space or you press enter on your keyboard. And then you can For some of us that need advanced tool, you can hold down Alt on your keyboard and then hold down there to help you duplicate, or you just do Control C, Control V. It helps you duplicate this. Again, move, then you can see what it has shown me. Now I have equal space between About Us, Shop, and then the other one. Okay. Then I will change my text and say Contact Us. So for me, this is what I like to do, right? I like to create those text boxes separately. But for some people, they do this for demonstration purposes, right? To do this, but the right practice is to create it separately, right? And then I already have my navigation menu set out. I just want these three. That's all for now, right? Then to group things is the same thing you do on Microsoft Word. I like the hold down shift, click on one, hold down shift, click on the second, click on the third, then Control G is to group. So they're already in, so I can move everything as one. So I'm going to delete this first one that I did. I already have my navigation menu. I want to place it below that line that we created. Okay. Okay, we have our nav menu. So again, I think this our logo is still a little bit big, but we'll get there. So the next thing that I did was to create a search menu, right? Why I placed a search menu there? Most websites don't have that, right? Some people, but if you're creating a website or a app that is serving people, right? That people come to your site to look for something, it's just important, right? To just add a search menu and put it right at the top where people can see it. And what I did was to create a shape. So go to your rectangle tool, right? Your rectangle tool, then click on your artboard, hold down, shift, press down your left click and then drag. Left click and drag it to help you create, this kind of frame. I'll do that again. I'll go to my rectangle tool, left click, and choose any region you want to start from. Then
ó máa bàjẹ́ o. Èmi máa wá gbélé náà tó bá lè gbélé náà ṣáfi sílẹ̀.
You want me on, I'll keep mine in my fridge. Me own.
artificial.
Yeah, so I'll take my own shoe.
So anyways, we have this text box drawn already, okay? I'll leave it here for now, okay? If you notice in the sample that you might also be checking of what we did, we have different types of shapes around. We have rounded shapes, we have, things that are totally round, we have some that have just rounded corners, and then we have things that are flat, they have sharp edges, right? So what we want to have, because we want this site to look a little bit modern, right? It's gonna those days where you just have things being tabular around, right? So that's why we have like modern shape around. Okay, so as I said, if you draw anything, just put in your mind that, okay, I want to change anything. Your attributes are on your right-hand side. Anything you want to do. Oh, I don't like how this thing has sharp edge. I want to change the corner. I want it to look rounded a little bit. Come and look for it here. I'm sure you'll find it. Okay, if you want to change the color, you'll find it here. So if you go underneath the W and the H that you have, that we've been talking about, where you can change the height, the width, right? You would see underneath your height, you would see something. It's usually 0, right? Until you change it. It's called the corner radius. And it will have a shape like this to be bended, right? It will like this. So then you can change it, you can increase it. So increase yours to about 20, and then you can instantly see your shape changing. Now we have a rounded rectangle rather than having like, squared shape and all. And you want to write search in it, just as text. So remember how you can write your text. I went through that process already. I'm going to leave it as big as this so that we can see, and then later on I can always reduce my size. I'm going to leave it here. In my example, I have icons. I'm going to add icons, later on. Okay, now we have our nav menu. We have this. We're not it's not yet coming together yet, but at least we'll have it. What I want to do is I want to reduce my logo size a little bit. I'll give it like 100. 100 seems okay. Move it up a bit. We have our nav menu. Okay, the next thing I did was to have a shape, an irregular shape, right? Not a proper rectangle. So I'm going to draw a rectangle and I will show you how to change it to add it like that. So I have just, again, the same way I've taught us how to draw a rectangle. Draw your rectangle. And now this is where my color comes in. I want to first of all change my color, okay? So again, we're looking for our attributes. Come to your attributes panel here. You'll be able to see fill. Under fill, right here, fill, you will see where you can change your color, okay? Remember, you've created a bunch of colors. How to access it, right? So under, when you go to that fill session, look for something that has like 4 dots. It's called styles and variables. You click on it. It brings out all the color that you've created. Okay, so I'm going to create my color. All right, so once I click on it, it changes the color inside there. And also there are multiple ways by which you can access that. Just so the reason why we are doing this is so that at the end of the day, if we decide and say we want to change our color to our color palette, our color scheme, right? It's easier for me. I'll just come to like my style guide. I'll just change those colors and it will change across board and I don't have to do, a lot of things. Okay, so once you do that, you might notice that, oh, where's my logo? Where's everything? Now there's something called arrangement style. First in, last out. LIFO or FIFO. There's the one time that we usually call it the FIFO. It's called first in, last out. It's just the way you stack. Imagine when you stack like CDs, that time that we used to have like arrays of CDs. You put it in is the last thing. So that's the way layers works, right? So in order to fix that, come to your left-hand side. You'll be able to find, your layers. Remember I told you about naming. So if I click on Japa Food here, that's like my artboard that I have. I can see something under it called rectangle. I can see search. I can see another rectangle. I can see like a group that I've created. I can see asset. I'm assuming that's my logo, right? In case you want to rename them, you want to start renaming them. Once you click on it, just double click on it and you can rename and say logo, okay? This one right here I have is my navigation menu. I've renamed it to nav just to get notes. So if you want to reorder things, all you need to do is just drag from up and put down. Just rearrange it like that. That's all.
Sorry, what's your rectangle? So we're going to standards. Is it the header we created before or something else?
What did you say?
The rectangle 7, no, the new rectangle. Is it the same header we created earlier or is it different purpose? Because the header we created and put to the right hand side of the artboard.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I just use that as an example to show.
Oh, okay.
Yes, like our wireframe. Yeah. So
okay.
everybody, so it doesn't confuse us.
Thank you. Because I left it as on my own on the right side as well.
It's okay if you have
Okay.
that so that you don't start from the beginning. If you have it, it's still a rectangle shape. If you
Yeah. I just wanted to know what it was. Okay, thank you. I already renamed mine to header before, so I want to change that now. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, thank you for following too. Okay, so I deleted that then. So now we already have our header. Okay. Now, if you notice the sample that I sent to us, it has like a slanted side lower. Now, in order for you to be able to achieve that, to edit any corner that you want, right? You need to be able to edit the point. So there's something called cardinal point. So it's just like if you have any shape, one corner would have what you can do to that corner. You can edit it and it will not affect the other side. So what I would just do is I come to this corner, double click, you can see this point. Okay, I'll come back again so I don't rush. Okay, let me zoom in. Just click on the shape. Once you click on the shape, remember the transformation, the boundary box around it, that blue box, you'll be able to see it. And you should be able to see this dot around it, right? You can even click it if you want to add radius. Say, for adventure, we don't want that shape again. I want my header to look like this. There are some websites you will go that, the header will pretty much look rounded. This is how you achieve it, right? You want your header to look like this. You put an image inside, and then this is how it looks, right? you're good to go. Peradventure, that's what you want to do. But we're not doing that. So remember, Ctrl Z also works. We're back to where we were. I'll zoom in again, click on it. Then what you want to do is double click on this corner. Once you double click, you would see like this grid line, slanted lines show up. Now, instead of having that dotted line inside the shape that you have, now you already have it at the corner. Okay, so all you need to do is click on that corner, whatever corner you want to do, click on it and then drag. And then drag down. So for some of us that are used to short key, you want to hold down shift to make sure you are on the same line, right? Just drag down and then you have your slanted line. Then once you're done, enter, right? And then you're good. That is how we have this done. Okay, we have this done already. Again, you will notice that your logo does not have, your logo would now, you will now get to see the real nature of your logo. It's not a transparent logo. That's, your logo should be a transparent background, depending on the background that you're using. Now we're using a colored background, it's very obvious, right? An easy fix, I'm just going to give us an easy fix rather than me sending the link again for us. Just the same thing that we did, practice it on your logo and reduce the radius of your logo to fit the shape that has been created for your logo. So I would say give your logo about 40, about 50, right? So what I did, Ctrl Z. Okay. So remember what we just did to our line to make it slanted. You can do the same thing on pretty much any shape. Come to your logo and notice the circle that are on the four edge. Notice those circle, right? So you can click on one of the circle and drag, or left click and drag in, or just click on it and come to your attribute corner here. You will see where you can change your corner radius and input 49. You'll be able to make your logo look the way it should look. Good? All right. Okay, so the next thing I did was to bring in an image and then added my text and the rest. Okay, so I have like a bunch of images that I can do. So what I want to do is I'll go online, image of, can we all see what I'm doing? I'm searching on Google. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Again, all images that we'll be using for this are just for demonstration purposes. It's in no way infringing on anybody's copyrighted image. Okay, so look for whatever image you want to use that might suit what you want to do. I just played around different images. I look for an image that might fit what I want to do, right? Select an image, you can save it, and then you can import it into where you want to use it. Okay, so what I usually do, these are like my own Google search tools, because I don't want to go through the process of using a software to remove my background. I just instantly tell Google to give me all images that have no background. So I put jollof rice, PNG, HD. Now, what PNG means is PNG is a transparent background. What HD means is it should give me a high definition image, at least not top, but at least high definition image. Okay, so this is the image that I ended up using. If you put in this same search tool that I use, you should be able to find this same result that I have. But please feel free to download any other image you want. Last week I advised that you go ahead and download your own images, put it inside a folder. I won't come back and show this example again. Okay. So what I would do, sometimes you might not be able to get the high definition image from here, right? So I want to go somewhere else. Okay, this seems to be okay for me. Click on it. Click on where it is. If you're on your laptop, you'll be able to see this. You can see more images, without background. And you can download it for free. You don't have to pay. You don't have to go to like Shutterstock and the likes. Okay, so then you download and then that's all. So what is different in my own example is that I manipulated my image just a little bit, right? So what you have there, so I'm going to import my image now. The first time importing an image again The same thing, you go to your menu, your main menu, go to File, go to Place Image. So then look for your image, wherever you save it, look for it. I already saved all my images that I'm going to be using today. I've saved everything here. Then we bring it out, then place it. Excuse me. Okay. So if you drag and drop, sometimes it will just place the image for you. If you go through this place image method, I'm going to go through it again. So the same way you drill like a text box, you have to draw the same thing. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. Then you can move it around, place it wherever you want to put it, and then you have your image done. Okay, so the next thing I did was to add my text. So don't worry about all of this extra scenario. Just place whatever image you have there. If you downloaded the same image I searched for, you'd have this, but you're not going to have like this smoke. You're not going to have like this shadow. Those are like extra things that you can always add, depending on how you want it to look like. Then I want to have my text, then I'm going to write anything you want to write. So say fastest fastest home delivery foods. Okay, so remember that we already created like our large header, and that's what I want to use here. I don't want to use like my body text again because it's still using my body text in my attribute corner. So if you find yourself in this situation that it's using body text and you want to change it, there will be a link. Just detach your style. Just click on it. It takes you to you. You can always manually input whatever you want. Or if you already have your style set, you can always create it. So go to your large and it automatically brings it up for you. And you have, excuse me, you have this done already. Okay, then you have fastest food, you have your text. Now, if you want to have like description under it, you can create another text. All you need to do is just keep creating. As I said, most of these things are shape-based. I want to write description. So I'm going to put a placeholder. This is just a placeholder text. Don't worry, if your text is too big, you can always adjust. You can always edit everything. Now, I don't want it to be this big, obviously. I want it to be like a body text. So I go back and look for my body text and change it to my body text. Just something small. And then we have that there. Okay, and I want to create my button. But before I do that, I want to finish up the header that we have. Okay, our header image. We have our search button up here. I want to go there. So in case you find yourself that, okay, you want to click on search. Now I want to edit my search button, but I can't edit my search button because it is clicking my image. It's not allowing me to select this rectangle that I've created. Remember the explanation we have with our layers. Okay, so what I want to do is go back and rearrange my layers. Put my layer down. That's my hero image. So I can also rename it and say jollof rice just for easy recognition. Okay. Then I want to go to my search rectangle. Now I can select it and now it's selectable. Okay. What I want to do is I don't want it to be this white. I want everything to look, pretty nice. So I'm going to reduce my opacity. I don't want it to be very bright. I want to reduce it. Come to your fill, reduce your opacity to about, say, 70, thereabouts. I find that 70 works for me. It's there, but it's just okay. It's going to be very opaque when, the opacity is going to increase when someone selects it. I'll give it 60 rather. Just there, noticeable enough. Increase it a bit. Then I want to put in my icon. Remember I said you can use for advanced level, you can use your icon. I will just quickly show us how we can use that, right? If you want to access your plugin, you can come to this top menu here, right? This resources tools, click on it, go to plugins. If you've added any plugins, you can. If you've not, there are tools that you can just search and then you can add if you want. Remember the other tool that I'm telling you, you can get where you can write sticky notes, you can get so many plugins that you can use. But I'm using Icon Scout. So now I want to search for, in a search bar, you will notice that people always use icons. So it is as easy as you just searching and saying search, then enter. It's going to give you icons that look like search. You already have the magnifying glass. So even if you don't remember the word magnifying glass, you find it there. So click on it. You can either drag and drop, which is what I'm doing now. Just click on it, hold down your mouse, drag and drop it in your timeline, or you double click. It will paste it in for you, right? So I'll double click. Then it tells me, do I want to insert as PNG or SVG? For web, just make sure you get vector images, okay? I'm not even going to go into what vector means. We mentioned it last week. Vectors are good for, web development and everything. It retains the size and shape. So your images will not be blurry when you put it on top. Now, this is a good information for some of us that are not UI UX designers, right? If your designer is sending you logo for website or something that is not in vector shape, you should definitely return it and tell the person to send you back like in vector shape. And vector format, what it just means is it's at its original size. Even if they increase it, they reduce it, it will not be blurry. For like PNG files now that are not like high definition size, by the time you reduce, increase, it start getting blurry, okay? So back to this, you insert as SVG. Okay, it's downloading, then you have it here already. So you will see it. Sometimes it might be tiny, but just look around. I did mine twice, so I have it there. Just delete one. Okay, so I have my magnifying glass here, then I put it up here. Okay, so an easy way for people that don't have access to that plugin, the same way you use Google, right? Just search, go to Google and search, just type search icon. Remember what I always do, PNG, that means it has no background. And then usually icons they're pretty much in good size and dimension, but just be sure to put HD again, just to have more. Excuse me, everyone. Okay, yeah. Excuse me. You will get the icons that you need. You can either go to websites. If you scroll down, you will find website where you can download SVG and the likes. But sometimes to make things faster for me, I go to images. Now you can find the same icon that you're looking for. You click on any one, be sure it's an PNG file. We're all familiar with using Google, but this aspect of it, making sure that it's a PNG file. By the time it loads, you'll be able to know if it has no background. Anytime you find an image and then the background looks like you have this checkers pattern, right? It means it's transparent. Now, nowadays, some images have these checker images behind them, but they are not transparent. It's there. So, but what I usually like to do is I would click on that image and drag around. If no checker image is behind it, that means it is truly transparent, right? That is how you can also know. This is like some Google tips that you can find. If that is okay by you, just without even going to the website, right click on that image, then you can see save image as, then save. I'm sure we're all familiar with this tool. Then you can click on, sorry, I have some like downloaders that's, okay. So once you save, you should have the image and it has saved in on my own laptop. So what I want to do is you will go to your main menu again, go to file, go to place image. Remember, alternatively, you can do drag and drop. It works the same way. Then look for where you have your image saved. I have it saved on my download. I don't know if you can, you might not be able to see my screen. Okay, then put it in. Sorry, I'm just reading. Okay. All right. So please, are we still following, guys? Just to get a bit of feedback before I move on.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So what I want to do, let me share my full screen so that you can see as I'm adding the stuff into it. Okay, so if you did what we just explained, you'll be able to find this, save as. Then you should have a module, whatever, how you save it. Just take note of the name in case your download is a little bit complicated, right? You have a lot of files like me. I'll take note of the name, then I'll download it. Then I'm sure it will be there. Then I'll go to my file back, then go to my main menu, the same way you import files, go to place images. You should open up a model, your system, then look for where you saved it. Now it's in my own downloads, and then the file name, because I have a lot of files, I'm just searching with my file name. Then I have it. Then this is the image. I'm going to import it. Okay, so remember the same name you can drag, so to give it how you want it to be. So guys, you see it's the same thing, the same way using an icon and using this. The only difference is just that the icon I use is it's a what's it called? It's a vector file, right? Even if I increase it, that is what is advisable for web development. But for the demonstration of this class, you can go ahead and use that image that you just downloaded and place it where it should be. Okay, I'm going to delete it now. All right. So I like to, demarcate things just in case, right? I can leave it like this. Sometimes I like to draw a line instead of rectangle. Now I'm choosing line. So go back to your shape tool to be able to access the tool I'm about to use now, right? Left click on your shape tool or right click, as the case may be if you're using a Windows, right? Then it will give you a drop down, then select line. Then once you go to line, the same way you've been doing, just left click and drag. Then it will draw a line for you. Okay, then you can always increase, remember the cardinal points. You can move those points, go up, go down. The attribute on the corner, you can change the color to whatever suits you, okay? I'm going to use a less obvious color, this. All right, it's looking a little bit like a search button, okay? We have that. How many of us are at this stage that I am right now? You've done your header, you have your image done, you have your text on this side, you have the background slanted. Okay. All right. There. All right. Awesome. So we're getting there. Now you've created header. Pretty much you've learned the major skills that you need to be able to do the other things. We're done. Okay. So now we want to start creating our filter. I will call it our shop filter, because this is where people can instantly see the food that they can get and all. Now up here, I want to create a CTA button before we move that, right? Before we move ahead, there's a CTA button that you should be able, okay, from my own page, I want people to be able to just click and, okay, buy this food. But Adventure, they like this thing that you're showcasing. They like this jollof rice. So let's create a button. The same thing that we did with creating a shape is what you would do, right? And then we're going to make our shape rounded. Go to your rectangle tool. Again, if you are currently on your line tool, the same thing, left click and go back to your rectangle tool, or you can see shortkeys. I'm not using shortkeys so that we don't, shortkeys like another thing. You have to learn how to use the tool before you even know how to use shortkeys. So for the sake of advancement, people, you can find your shortkeys there, R, and then you can move to your rectangle tool. Then go to any region. I'm going to draw under my description, then draw a text box. I mean a shape rather. And then I have my shape. Remember, I want to make it rounded. And for consistency, right, I would say 12, but depending on the size of your rectangle, it might not give you a complete rounded area. I'm not just looking for rounded corners. I want the total end, the left and right end to be rounded, okay? So what I can do is, remember, there are two methods. I'm going with the fastest. I'll come to my point here, this radius point. I can see my boundary box and I click on this circle, then click it, then drag down. right? So once I click, I left click and drag all the way down. It will do this. If I want to bring it back up again, I click on it and I drag up. Remember? So up, if I want to make it rounded rectangle, click on that corner and drag. If I want to leave it at a rounded corner, I leave it like this, but I want to make it complete. I drag all the way. Now I have a button there, right? I feel this button might be too fat, but let's leave it for the sake of demonstration. Okay. Again, before you get to like a stage where you already know what type of button you want to do, that is why design inspo is important. You need to look to research. So trust me, every designer needs to do this, right? Or not even designer, everyone does this, right? You want to look for what people have done before. So what I would do is I would just say, search module design. This is assuming that you don't know the type of search button to do, because if you see my reference, I have a style of search that I've used, a style of button, right? If you want to, or a style of CTA that you want to use, it depends. Even our search module that we have there is different. So if you go online, you will see the way people have done their search differently, the way it looks. Just go out. Okay, see the way this guy did their one. They created their box, their text box separately. Now you know how to create rounded corner. If you don't know before, now you know. You can put your text box inside. Now they created their home button separately. So see the button that they created, a rounded rectangle, but it has the text inside. That is one sample. Look for, you can just scroll through, look for multiple, examples, and then you say, okay, this is what I want to use. But don't go out, don't go on looking for so many things that you want, different designs, because it's just going to corrupt and change your direction. Okay, you want to make sure, okay, you have a style. If you are starting with rounded rectangles, make sure it's complete. You are using rounded rectangles all through. If you are going with just rounded corners, go with that. Okay, so I'm going to change the color first of all. I'm changing it to the color that I have. You can click on this and go to your lucky point. That's my lucky point. I'm going to write a text inside. I'm going to say, I'm going to say purchase now. Okay, I'm going to leave my text as my body size, which is 14. But what I want to also do is I want to centralize, because currently I've created it and then is around there. Okay, there are multiple ways by which you can do this. Okay, but straightforward way, once you draw any text, if you are using the option of drawing a boundary around it, because it's a boundary, there are two methods. First of all, once you click on that tool, you can just click anywhere, then it gives you that cursor, right? That line cursor that you can type. If you go through that method, you won't need to do this method that I'm doing. But if you find yourself using this method, you notice that my text is at the top left corner of my boundary box. I want to make sure that it's in the middle. So what you want to do is come to your attribute corner. By the time you see this body text, you will see it's just like a Microsoft Word, right? You can align middle, and then you can align wherever. This is to align middle where it is within your boundary box. If you notice that it's in the middle and then it's here. Okay, so we have our button. It's a little bit big, but I mean, we can always adjust this. So what I like to do sometimes, get my framework, everything sorted, then I adjust things around depending. Okay, so we have this done, we have that done. Now, another thing before we move to the next level is, if you notice, I have a gradient background in my own. You can see that my background is not just flat, gradient. So I'm taking this step by step, from less step to the one that has more steps. So what you want to do, click on your background, go to your colors. Remember how we created our color palette? We want to create a new color scheme, right? So if you're currently clicked within your Canva, like you have your rectangle clicked, please just click out, click anywhere, the white space, click within white space. Then you should be able to, then look at your right hand side, your right panel, you'll be able to find all the colors that you created, the color style, and then the text style. So you create a new color style now. We can call it gradient. We're going to call it gradient 2. Okay. Okay. So we all remember this step. So instead of choosing one, so instead of typing my text into my color code in here, I'm going to click on this icon, the color icon beside this. Then it will bring out another module for me. Don't worry about all this. I'll take it step by step. Okay. If what you're concerned about, first of all, under custom and libraries, you will see like 4 icons there. The first one is a solid color, you mouse over. The second one is a gradient color, right? You're concerned about gradient color. Once you click on it, you find this icon here, right? You want to, if you want to choose any color, just select it. Just select this color from here. This is my mouse here. I'm selecting this. Now, this first one, I want it to have that same green color. I'm using my same color code. So I'm going to look for my green. Me. Okay. I've changed this. So what I did was to change this from document color in case you don't find the colors that you've created and you cannot remember your hexagonal colors. If you remember your hexagonal colors, just go ahead and put it in here. If not, go to your local colors. You'll find it here. My first color is green. Now, the second color I want to use is my own kind of cream color. Select my cream color, right? And I have this. Now, if you notice, you'll be seeing the equivalence on your right-hand side. I can see what it looks like. Now, there are different type of gradient colors. We have the linear color. We have the radial color. So what I'm using currently is the radial. So what you want to do is below those 4 icons that you have on top here, you will see linear, right? You want to click on it and go to radial. Okay, now it's giving me a feel of what I want. So what that just means is it's going to start at the middle, then spread out. Then once you're good with that, just click on create style. Be sure to create your create style here. And then you automatically see it created here. So now I want to change this from being a solid color to my gradient color. Then now I have that effect, just having a splash in the background, depending. Now I have that effect done. Are we good? Everyone? Do you want me to repeat that step one more time?
Yeah.
You can repeat it.
Yeah, you can repeat it. We are still doing the selecting the colors
Okay.
of the gradient, second color, first and second color.
All right, that's fine. Okay, just real quick, I'm going to recreate it again. Okay, so creating a gradient color, the same process that you are doing to create a color. Just click on your plus sign. You want to create something new. Click on that. Then to take you to the process, I can name it and say gradient 3. Okay. So then what I want to do is, instead of putting my hexagonal colors here, like we've been doing with the other colors, right? I'll click on this icon that is before it. I click on this, my gray icon, then brings out this. Then I'm concerned with these 4 icons that are on top here. I click on this second one. Then you can instantly just change it. Now you already know that you want a radial color, like a radial pattern. I want the color to start from the middle, and then I want another color at the edge of it. If you want a linear color, that's fine. You can leave it at that. Okay, so I'm changing mine to radial. Okay, now I'm clicking on this. If I click on this, it will change my first color. Then normally you would have document colors selected. If you come at this lower button here, I'm coming down here, you'll find document colors. You'll be able to see the colors that come with the artboard, general standard colors. But I want to use the colors that I've created initially. Those are my brand colors, right? If you already know your hexagonal colors, just go ahead and input it here. If not, go through this process that I just explained. Then you click on this. Then for this other one, I'm going to click on this color. Now I have a reverse of what I had earlier on, right? Now, if you find yourself that, oh, I don't want this yellow this cream color to be at the edge. I want it to be in the middle, right? You can easily just come up here and then just do a switch, and then it automatically switch it for you. Or you input this thing correctly, right? Put your cream color at the first, then the color you put at the first will be the one in the middle, because that's where it's starting from the middle. Then once you're done, create your color, create style. Then it has created. Then go ahead to your shape and then click on your new style, and then you have it. Good. Just try for
I had a brief issue with so after selecting the color, I was trying to select the local color, but my screen was not big enough. So I just made my web screen to be full screen, so which is F11 for those new Windows. And then I can now select the actual color.
okay.
So after picking local colors, then I already created my color scheme, my color styles.
Mm-hmm.
But when you click on local styles, it didn't show me the color that I created already. So I just made it F11, then I scroll down.
And then you
select.
saw it. That's
yeah.
fine. Yeah, and alternatively, just take note of your hexagonal color, and then you just put the code in yourself.
Okay.
Cool. So now the next thing that we have is bar, right? So what I created and what I was creating was that I want people to be able to search instantly. I want them to search for, so for example, instead of creating a search that says, depending on whatever you have for the demonstration of this class, I want people to be able to search local dish, international dish, Mexican dish, and so on. It also boils down to navigation menu. That's like a nav within a nav, right? So I'm going to use my text tool first of all, and draw my text and say local dish. Okay, they're going to write that. So guys, also notice that if you draw a text box, your text is going to be within your radius. If you don't want that and you want to make sure that your text is on its own, whenever you select your text tool, just click on the artboard, then you can see this cursor moving on. International dish. Okay, then go again. Remember, if you're already used to this already, and then you want to go back to your text, just click on T. It will move to your tool for you. The fact that is our local food doesn't mean you can't sell like international food. So go ahead. And as a designer, all this information will be provided by stakeholders in whatever project you're working on.
What mechanical is this?
What did you say, Mom?
I'm enjoying with my phone.
Okay. So please mute yourself if you're engaged with other things within your space. All right. So we have this. So I'm just going to duplicate it for the sake of time. I'm going to duplicate this. So hold down Shift, select all of this, Control C, Control V. Now I have 6 menus that I want to work on, okay? Then you can highlight everything. Just click around your artboard, then drag over everything. It's going to highlight everything for you. That's another short key that you can do. Or you just hold down Shift, click on those text box one by one. And then you can either use your arrow key on your keyboard, left, right, to move things around. So this is what I want. Okay, so I want to demarcate these things. Don't worry about designing. So first of all, when designing, I mean, this is my own style. Get the information, all the information that you want to put it there, right? Then you will now start adding, extra things. See what we did with our search button. We are not even yet done with that. We are still going to add like our shopping cart icon, all that into that space. And I see that our time is even fast spent already. Oh. So guys, I mean, design takes a while. That is one thing, right? And whenever you're working on a project with what's it called, with stakeholders, they won't give you for a standard landing page. I mean, if you're experienced, you can spend less than 3 hours to build your landing page done. But I mean, for like a standard time frame is 6 hours, your employer would give you. Come up with a landing page, because you just don't rush into it. There's a lot of thinking that goes behind it. And if you notice, as I'm doing this, I'm explaining why this information is at the top. Some websites, after the header banner, you go instantly into About Us, and then you see text, but no one wants to see that, okay? With the short time that we have, I will quickly create this while you watch as I'm doing the same tool that I'm doing, okay? Okay, I'm just demarcating this from, what we have. It's just like a text box that I'm drawing. Just duplicated that. Okay, then moving it up, and then changing the color to what I already created. Then I'll leave this as gray as it is. Then what I want to do now is create like my module that shows my items that people can buy. Okay, then create a rectangle. I think this size is okay. Usually I want to make it like a perfect rectangle, but this is perfect square rather, but this is okay for me. And remember, we have a style. So I'll give it a 20 radius. 20 radius is okay for me. Now, and I want to put my image. Now, all the image of food. Now, this is where you showcase the food that you're selling. Now, I want to change this. Now, what I currently have, excuse me. So what I currently have is a solid color. I don't want a color. I want to put in image. There are multiple ways where you can do this, but quick way, come to your field, click on this icon, this circle icon, and instead of choosing a color, click on image. Now you will see it will instantly change, and you can choose image. Just scroll down, choose image from here. It opens up your, system, and then you can select where you have your images. I'm going to give pepper sauce. I have my image, right? I have this done already. Okay, now under it, I need to put the name. What's the name of this product? Draw your text. I like to draw text boxes. Okay. So pepper sauce can be in the center. You can align as you have. Just don't mind me capitalizing this, and just depends. Okay. Now pepper sauce. Then I'll change the color because I don't want this hierarchy of information. It's of not much importance. Okay. So people can add this. Then how much is it? I want to add the price just beside it a little bit so people can instantly see. So all I'm doing is just text box shapes. That's all. As long as you have a wireframe, like a mood board that you're following, it's all good. Then I want to make this a little bit, bolder. I want to change it to be bold. We'll say extra bold, right? Still maintain that same thing. Move this a little bit to this side. Good. Now I want to create a button. Remember, we've created a button up here. You can come here and copy. If you have it, copy that same button, right? And then reduce the size because this is obviously way too big. Okay. Then I'll resize it to what I want. Yes. This is okay for me. Okay. Then I'll resize. So these are like alignment, functionalities that I'm using. So this is pretty much what I want to have, just to showcase all of this. Then I can highlight everything and then Control G to group them, right? And this is just for demonstration. Now on a page, I want to have, say, I want to have just four items on it, right? Now I'm adding it. Now this is my 4 items. Done, right? You highlight all of this again. I group them because now I want to have 4 layers, and now I Control C, Control V. You can copy and duplicate it there. Now we have our layer done, right? I'm just trying to be mindful of time. Okay, so now our next layer, which is to have, I'm just going to skip that real quick and then draw our next layer, which we have like the food of the day. And I change the background to what I already have, which is this color. Yeah. Then I added images, right? And all. Now, right here, I added icons. Remember the process that we went through to add icons. So for local dish, say, for example, I want to look for food icon. So the same process I did, go to Google, look for food icon and all. If not, if you have the plugin, look for the icon of, that you have. Okay. 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 I'm just trying to get some things done. Good. All right. So please, can we all suggest if you want us to continue this, because we're supposed to end the class now. I mean, and we are almost done. If you want us to extend the time a little bit, if you don't mind, I mean, because we like to respect people's time here. If we say we end something at this, and of course, website designing something is a longer process. We can't finish it in a day.
I think you can extend it.
Okay. So if I get two more people to give the go ahead, we extend.
Yes, so extend.
So
My sample work. I posted it on the. I'm following you, but I've started going very fast. So,
oh, this is nice. At least
so you started moving very fast. So I had to just.
I was trying to.
Yeah. But I'm following you, Sha. I'm following you. So please extend.
I see the color.
Thank you for the work, for the good job.
Good.
I appreciate it.
Thank you too. All right, so we'll extend this to 9:30. So give ourselves about 30, 40 minutes more. Okay, good. Now I can slow down a little bit. So some of the things I put here, I think changed when I was trying to change fast food. Okay. So I see that based on what somebody shared, at least some people already get it to this stage of header. Now, what I did in this session, I will do one example again of this. Okay. Let me delete all of this. And guys, remember there is a boot camp, coming in April where you get to learn this in total. This is just the tip of the iceberg, right? What you are learning. Imagine you being able to design applications, mobile app by yourself. And trust me, it's not rocket science. This thing is, you can see what we have done so far. It's just you drawing shape and putting text in it. Looking for images and putting things is very, very easy. I tell people, this is one of the easiest skill you can actually acquire, right? Because you don't have to do so much about it. It's just learning how to use the tool and then we're good. All right. So going back to this, now I'm creating what I just did from scratch. We all remember, know how to just look for different filters. So this thing I call filters. I want people to be able to order for food. What do they want to order? Straight up, local dish, international food. I've listed everything up here. So in case you've not done that, try and just text box and write everything out. So what I just did under here is just to divide it, right? So whenever you click on international dish, if this is international dish, this icon, this bar that I put will be under it. It's just for people to know that, okay, yes, I'm under international dish, I'm under local, but I'm going to leave mine under local for now because that's what I'm working on. All right. Thank you very much, Femi, for joining. Really appreciate you, trying to also acquire more skill on this. Thank you. Okay. So what I did was to create a shape. Go to your rectangle tool. Create a descent. You can create an equal squared size. That is fine. Then change your radius to 20, 23, depending on what you want. Now, to add an image, look at my cursor, move to your attribute corner here. Remember, I tell you, anything you draw, just go to your attribute corner. You can find, things to tweak around there. If you want to add stroke, you want to add effect, there's so many other things that we can do with this, but I'm not going into all this now. So click on this square that you can see, the color icon here. Then it brings out this module that you can see. Remember this 4 icon that we chose to choose our gradient color. Now we're using this third icon, which is the image. If you mouse over it, you will see image. Peradventure, you want to add a video. right? You want a video to be playing inside this thing. If you shop on Amazon very well, right? Or you shop on some other what is AliExpress and so on, you see that sometimes they have videos showing inside like that product module that they have. This is how you can also implement the same thing. So click on this image. Once you click on it, you instantly see that this thing changes. Remember what I said about checkers pattern. Checkers pattern means transparent. And then this is just a placeholder that, Figma puts and places inside for you. And now you have to choose your own image. So still come to you are still on your attribute corner here. Click on choose image. Once you click on choose image, you'll be able to select whatever image. So I told you I've created a folder. So look for an image that you want. So for example, I have okra soup. I click on okra soup. Then it places my okra soup inside. You can, if the image is too dark, you can play around different things in here, right? So let's not.
Sorry for interrupting you.
Mhm.
Did you just show how you selected the image from the box?
Okay,
From
so
the rectangle?
uh,
Fill, yeah. How am I not seeing that?
so you are here, right?
Yes.
Go to fill, go to
Yep.
fill, click on this icon before your hexagonal color.
Okay. Oh yeah, thank you, Asmi. Thank you.
All right. Then look for the 4 icons. You would see image. Then click on image. Then you'll be able to see this checkers pattern. Then you can scroll down here. You're still on this side. Come here. Then you will see choose image. Click choose image. And then you can select it automatically brings up your wherever you save the image. You can look for it. And I'm choosing okra soup. Then it places okra soup there for me. Then align it how you want it to be. Then draw a text under it saying okra soup. I'm going to do another example for the sake of some of us that are joining that are not that might not understand what all this soup means. Just give me a second while I try to do that. I'm going to use my body text, which is 19, which is okay for me. It's okay. All right. Then I want to create my my price. I'll give it $35. Then I want to make it bold. Now, so what I've done was to create this. Now I want to do additional edits to it. So what I said is you can see this link. All you need to do is click on this link, your attribute shape here, your attribute panel. Click on this. It detaches the style that you've done. Then you can have access to all these things. I'm sure we are familiar with this type of things when you use Microsoft Word. This is where you can select either regular or bold fonts. You can increase your fonts and play around with all these alignment tools. So we are going to use just this for now. Then align it, how you want it to be. Then I'm drawing another text box under it, just to add a little bit of blob, a short blob, saying served with a side of some more, as the case may be. Then because of hierarchy of information, if I leave it at that same color, people are going to, okay, what do I look at for? I want you to instantly see okra soup, and I want you to instantly see $34. Then this is just a side. Everybody that is buying a soup knows on our site, they will know that, okay, they're getting this. So I put it there. Now I created my text, my CTA button. So just for the sake, I'm going to quickly do that again. Go to my rectangle and create a small rectangle, okay? And give it a rounded corner. I want to give it I want it to be totally round, okay? Go to my text, then create and say purchase now or add to cart. Let me just add to cart. Okay, and I'm leaving it in my body color. Now I want to change the button color to one of our colors and say this. Then I'm going to change this to white. Yes, let's give it white a bit. Yes, this is good. Okay, so if you notice the sample I had a plus sign. The same way the same step I did to get icon, you can go through the same step. But for now, I'm just going to go through my own icon and look for an icon to add. So if you say how to cart, if you go on most shopping sites, right? Even if you don't know what to design for this shop site, as I said, go on Google, look for examples. Oh, I like the way they designed this. Let me implement this and add to my own. So I'm going to look for this icon plus, because everyone knows that it's being used, widely. So I'm going to add it beside and change my color to this. Okay. Then just try and align it to. Okay. Now I have add to cart, right? I have my button done. Then I can highlight it. Remember what I said, click on the white space, then highlight everything like this. Click on the white space, Control G. Then I can duplicate, as the case may be. If you're using a MacBook, a shortcut to do is just hold down your Shift and Alt key together, then drag. It will help you do that. If not, just do Control C and Control V, which is what I did. If you do Control V, it will place it at the exact spots that you have. Just know that it's already pasted. All you need to do is just drag, then you will see it. Just duplicate. You can hold down Shift on your keyboard to make sure that it's on the same line and you don't have like it being moved around. And remember, if you're dragging things around, Figma will automatically help you with measurements. So you can see I already have like in between them, I have 63, 63. So I'm good. Then I have like equal space around them. I can highlight them, group them as the case may be. So once you group them, you can do Control C, Control V again, and then drag it down. So that way you already have four elements. Now, if you want to change the images in there, all you need to do is just double click, keep on double clicking until you get to that's if you have grouped already, until you get to the image. The same thing, click on the icon, go to your attribute side, click on the icon, then choose image, choose a different image. For this one, I'm going to choose something more international. Okay, even though that this tab that we have, it's local dish, but I mean, just for the sake of example, I'll look for something. I'll change it. Okay, you know what? So I'll go to Google now, right? And then just think I have jollof rice. Okay. Okay, yes, I have jollof rice. I'll use jollof rice. I'm trying to look for where it's saved. Oh. Okay. All right. So now you've instantly changed the thing. And now you can double click on your text again and jollof rice. You can add whatever you want to add to it. Okay, change the amount, instead of a side of semo, you can say side of fries, if that works. So what we have done with duplicating all this is to create a template for ourselves. We don't have to create all these things from scratch again. All you need to do is just edit, and then you already have this done. Good. So I'll delete one because I want just 4 sides here. So going back to this our menu, right? I want to add icons to it. I want to make it distinguishable, not just text. I like to use icons because icons bring out the beauty in some things. So local dish, I want an icon that says maybe plates. Okay, so the same thing, I'll look for my icon here, and I'll try and see if they have a befitting icon. So just loading. So for some of us that are interested in joining our bootcamp in April, the cost is under $1,000 Canadian dollars, which is at a giveaway price, right? The original cost is 1,200, right? But with a discount, which ends in by March, end of March. So I would advise that you go ahead and register now and use the promo code. If you use the promo code, you get a discount, which brings down the total money to about less than 1,000, and it's for 10 weeks. And what you get to learn, you're not just learning. Just permit me to just do this and bring this up. Okay, so you're not just learning design UI UX alone. We're going to be introducing you to basics of HTML, CSS, which is a requirement for most jobs nowadays. Now, not even designers. You get to see, you want to apply for business analyst. They're telling you have basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, right? Gone are those days when you don't need all those things. As a project manager, you need to be able to have this knowledge too, right? So that you'll be able to assign tasks, duties, very well. Business analyst, you're creating your task, creating different things. You need to have all this knowledge too. So we'll be going through Figma, we'll be going through Adobe XD, right? So Figma, Adobe XD is more of the professional level, right? It's the same thing it does with Figma, but it's more of a professional tool and not a free source. It's an Adobe, software family. We'll be using all of that. We'll be learning from real life situation. As I am, like, this is my own career, right? I'll be showing us like real life work. Like, I'm doing this, I'm designing this thing for this company. This is the process. You'll be learning from that. We're going to be going into discussion session. Don't be surprised that most of the time we'll be discussing things in details before we even get into designing of things ourselves. And this is a one-on-one class with us, and we have a very limited class slots. So the earlier the better. You can visit this link to register right away and then make use of all this. Okay. And we have installment payments available for everyone, right? So you can pay in 3 installments, very free and easy for everyone. Okay, thank you very much. So yes, we'll go back. I'm looking for an icon. So I'm just going to use this for now. Okay. So I'll put this icon beside it, and then I can change the color to this. Okay, then international dish. I will look for another icon, say, so again, I'm just making this process faster. You know how to get, if you don't have access to this plugin, you can get your images online. Then you can, if you download an image online, most likely you won't be able to change the color, but for demonstration, just go ahead and use whatever color you have, right? So I can use whatever color I like for this. For Mexican food, I can, let me see if they have tacos, right? You try and look for icons that, are relatable to people, that what they are known for. Luckily for us, they have tacos. So we're going to use that. So this is how, in the sample that I sent to us, this is how I added icons to those things that I have. So I'll skip adding the remaining things, and this is how I changed the color. I'll keep adding icons to the remaining one. So you can see how we have icons. There are different type of icons. There are icons that have like field color, field this. We already have that, okay? Yes, so to the next thing that we have, you can adjust this as you like. Okay, then we have our layout. Let's just be fast. Okay, team limit tomorrow. Draw your rectangle, and then we want to showcase, the food of the day where someone can come and eat. Okay, so the same procedure. That's what I'm going to do. I'm drawing. So what I want to do is, and what I did in my reference was to create a gallery, right? I know that this kind of business, you need to show people, let them see the food, let them even salivate on how, good the food, the dressing of the food is before. So you need to show images a lot. Now I'm changing my background to one of my colors, which is like this color. Use this bright one, that's fine. If it's too bright, I change it later on. I draw my rectangle. Then we all know the way gallery works. You have like one main image on top, and then you have like some small thumbnails underneath it. If you shop a lot, I'm sure you'll have come around it. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to replicate that same thing. Now remember, I'm making sure it's consistent across board. I'm changing my radius to 2. Now my main image, I'm changing the image and I'm adding, image there. I'm choosing the image. Then, okay, so I'll select an image. Then let's use this and go with this. Okay, want to use this. Now I want to create like the thumbnails that will come under it. So this is it. I'm creating a thumbnail model down here. It's still rectangle, right? The same thing, I'm making sure I'm adding radius to it, right? Because you want to make sure, and this is the thing that happens among designers. Even though you're using design inspo, you're getting design style from this person, from this site, this style. At the end of the day, when you now design, you now have disjointed styles. You're using rounded corner here, you're using flat corner here. It's not just consistent. You want to make sure you're using the same element across board, right? And that's why you should think through it first and make sure it's applicable to everything. Now I'm going to put my short thumbnail. And guys, if you can see again, I'm reinforcing. All I'm just doing is using my shape tool, creating shapes, adding images to it, changing the arrangement. That is all what this is about. It's easy peasy. You're changing image for my thumbnail. Go to where you save your image. At this, then I can duplicate this. Let's make 4, 12. Okay. Flip all of this and then make sure it's in the center. Bam. Then I want to change this image. Double click on this. I go to my view, then choose another image to use. And this is me just changing images around, just so you see. I'm going to change this image too. So guys, also remember, you don't have to go and do like big photo shoots if you don't have access to images. You can use AI to generate images for you, images of be specific with what you want, right? And then do this. Oh yeah, there's something I noticed last week. I noticed a lot of people were using AI to generate Jackpot logo. So what AI might understand as Jackpot is I think it's a Japanese or Chinese word. It means something. So that's why if it is generating a logo for you, it might be using Asian style where you have like chopstick and all that. So if you try that and then the logo you keep getting is Asian style, it's because the AI does not understand Nigerian. So you might want to be more specific and say African something something something, and then it will help you. That's all. Okay. So what I'm doing is, instead of recreating, I already created this element already. I'm just copying, coming here and pasting. Okay. So if you notice in my own, I have like this count, like quantity. You want to create like how many quantity do you want to add and how to cut. But sometimes if you have this plus sign, you like the developers might just put that feature. You don't need to create that anymore. So I'm going to skip that for now. Okay, so now we already have this done. Now what I also have in mind is, now looking at this, it looks pretty pretty empty. There's nothing on the background, right? Pretty empty. If this is all the information that your stakeholder wants you to use, right, you can just go ahead and, so what I did was to download like I'm going to drag and drop so you see, or let me just place. So you see I downloaded the watermark. This is the watermark that I downloaded, which can help you. You can get it online the same way, you've got other things. Just go ahead and download it. Okay. So now, depending, there are things that you can do, image manipulation. Now, I can decide to place this on this corner rather than it being here. It can be on this corner. So it's big enough. There are some advanced things that we need to do here to make sure that it's within this place. Now, I can clip it within a certain shape. I'll just really do that. Just now, but don't bother about that. It might be a bit of advanced level. Yeah, okay. And don't worry about all this. As I assure you, it's pretty much easy. By the time we start, do the boot camp thing. These are things that you're going to get like ASAP. And then you get to change it to any color that you want. So let's choose a darker one. Okay. And what I want to do is move it to the side. Okay, I've created this. So at the beginning, remember what I said, whereby you are going to have a lot of, elements. If you look at on your left-hand side, see how many layers we're already having. If I'm not naming them, you will get lost, okay? But I had to rush because of all this. I usually like to name things as I'm creating them. Okay, so what I would do is I want to group this so I can move it to the side. So depending on how this thing works, I can move this downwards a bit. So again, design is just about you moving things around, making sure it fits where it should be. And that's all. Okay. And then the next thing, subscribe, and then we did our footer. It's the same procedure for what you've done so far, and then now. So we have 4 minutes more. Do we have, before I, round off, do you have any questions? I can just use that time to, just take us through any other thing again. Anyone? Any question, anyone? Are we stuck anywhere? Let's go back and then I can take us back again anywhere. Because pretty much it's the same procedure I've been going all through if you want to create your footer and the likes.
Sorry, I couldn't, right from the onset, I just didn't want to disturb. I couldn't zoom my page. I was just moving up and down, side by side. Is there any way that one can zoom?
Yes, Control plus on your keyboard. If you're using a MacBook, you can just use 2 fingers on your mouse pad and then just pull them apart, put 2 fingers apart. It will zoom for you. So Control Plus on your keyboard, it will zoom in for you. And then you can either use this scroll bar on the side to move around, or click on your hand too, or press H if you zoom in too much, just like I'm doing. Now this is too much, right? You can use the hand tool to move your canvas around. Just hold it and drag to the side, anyhow you want to do it. Drag. Did that work?
Maybe a bit better than, yes, maybe a bit better.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Control plus minus to zoom out, Control plus plus to zoom in. Right. Any other question before we round off? So I know, guys, this has been a whole lot of, learning, a whole lot of new things, but trust me, as you have seen what we have done so far, it's just me using shapes. It is easy. And again, I want to apologize if I'm not able to accommodate everyone's, comments. It's just, I wanted us to be able to get somewhere solid today, right? Like by you having...
Sorry, is there a way for us to export the image or something?
Yes,
Once it's done.
the one that you have done yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll quickly show you that. Instead of exporting the image, you can easily share the link, just like what I shared on the group, right? You can share it so that I can even see what you've done so far. Just come to your top right. You'll be able to see. Now, on my own now, these are the team. These are people that have access to the file that I'm working on that I can see. I can see Anodua, Post Solomon. I can see I can see 8 people, have access to what I'm doing currently, right? So then next to it, you'll be able to see share. It's a button like the share. Then it brings out a module for you where you can see people that you can share with. You can see anyone with the link can view or can edit. If you want people to be able to edit it, you click on edit. If you can see just view, click on that. Once you are done, see copy link on top here. You copy the link. Once you copy your link, you paste it down. You paste it in our group chat so that everyone can see. So please,
Okay, no problem.
please, can we all...
Although it's not complete, so
it doesn't matter. Just paste it and let me see. And it's just to see that, please, you people are trying to do something. I see the person that sent the screenshot. That's good. Thank you very much. Just go ahead, wherever stage you are in, just paste it. If you sign up in the boot camp, these are the things that we'll be doing from scratch to finish. We have 10 weeks. We are not missing time. We'll be able to spend time, to do things very, very well. I mean, spend time to do them. Okay. And again, we are going to be having one more session. I know a lot of people have been saying people were not able to join because of time difference, right? So people wanted to join in the morning. So we're going to be having a session on what's it called? March 30th in the morning. We're going to definitely send an email to everyone, right? We'll communicate the time to you on the time that we're going to have it. So we're going to be having this session on March 30th, another one, and this is also free, just for you to come and learn. And that time is going to be like a crash course. It's not going to be 2 hours. That can be 3 to 4 hours where we learn everything again. So you can use that as a refresher where you can learn things. Wow. I don't know if we can all see my screen. This is somebody's work. This is nice. This is good, at least. You're set.
why is that my search? The icon. I thought I edited it.
It's okay. So it's good. I see you did. You see? Yeah, it's good. You also, okay, instead of having like a straight shape, you also had like a slanted one down. It's good. It makes your, consistent. So please, is anyone, if you've also done something like this, whatever stage you are in, please share.
I can't seem to find that icon, and there's so much. I'm trying to get rid of the icon now.
Exactly. So most times I group and name. So don't worry, we will learn how to group all these things very well. I believe you guys have been able to at least learn one thing or the other. Thank you guys very much. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing you in our boot camp. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good night.